Hey, everybody, it's Scott Steen with winnersandwhiners.com coming to you with the Tuesday edition of Today in Sports Betting. Taking a look at it, doing a little MACtion, little day one of our MACtion breakdown here. Scott, we got we got kind of a mirror image of these two games. We got two of the best teams in the MAC playing unquestionably the two worst teams in the MAC, and it's going to be it's going to be kind of a interesting thing to try to keep us away from just choosing the favorites here. So, what do you got? What do you got? Let's start with Buffalo and Bowling Green. You know, when the season started, everybody thought that Akron was going to be the absolute dogs of this conference. But Bowling Green said, "Not so fast, there, Zips. We can be shitty too," and they certainly have been in their first two games. And now they go up against a team that looks to be, I don't know, at least their first couple of games, pretty unstoppable. What do you got here? Anything exciting?
Well, for Bowling Green, just imagine the Atlanta Falcons in the fourth quarter, and then apply these Falcons for all fourth quarters, and that's for every quarter, and that's basically what you have for Bowling Green.
What is it with the Falcons?
Yeah, it's the Falcons' name. No, but this team is so bad. There's really no way to put it. If you actually watch them play, it's not pretty. They gave up 60-something points to Kent State last week, and Kent State was also in the middle of playing basically a monsoon for about half a quarter. So the weather was bad. Did it matter? No. Kent State still scored all the time. Bowling Green can't stop the pass. They can't stop the run. Even their offense is below par. They turn the ball over a lot. They don't finish off drives. Their special teams isn't great. Really, I don't know what this team does well.
Other than that, they're pretty darn good.
Other than that, though, they're on the rise. But I don't know what they do well. They can run the ball a little bit, which I guess is the saving grace when everything else is terrible. But you look at this team play, and Buffalo's defense, which has been a little bit underwhelming so far this season, though, they were good last week, and now they only gave up 10 points in their last game. Now they face off against Bowling Green, who only scored 3 against Toledo. I don't think Toledo's defense is anything to write home about. I think that the last game that they played was a true testament to that because they blew that massive lead to Western Michigan. I think that Buffalo should win this game running away. I know the spread's 31, which is the equivalent of like Ohio State playing Illinois. But I think I have to lay it with Buffalo because Bowling Green could give up 50-plus, and I don't know if they're going to be scoring more than 14-plus. So for me, I got to lean to Buffalo in this spot.
Yeah, I'm with you. I will tell you, though, just to play slight devil's advocate here, is, Bowling Green, they've got a pair of freshman running backs that if they give them the ball, especially late in the game when Buffalo has a commanding lead, Buffalo's going to play soft. They're going to back off. It is possible that Bowling Green could sneak down there and score a touchdown or two. I got a small little worry about a backdoor cover here. I think there's no question that at some point tonight, Buffalo will have a lead of 31 or more. The only question to me is whether they can hold it through garbage time. So that's what keeps me from giving a full-throated endorsement to this play.
And I think my counter argument to that would be in garbage time, can Bowling Green's defense stop Buffalo either? I don't know.
It depends on how much Buffalo, if you'll forgive a small pun here, is pulls in their horns.
Got him. Well done.
If Buffalo keeps the first string on the field in garbage time, then yeah, there's
no reason for them to, so you have to assume they're bringing the backups. I'm just saying that Buffalo is known to be very good at running the ball, and Bowling Green is practically useless when it comes to stopping the run. So I'm curious if Buffalo's backups can potentially reach the end zone as well. Because I do agree that Bowling Green should take advantage of some prevent defense. Then again, in their last game, Miami, Ohio didn't take advantage of anything, and they settled for a field goal against Buffalo in the fourth quarter of that game when they were down 35, which true MAC, that's a true MAC coaching job there, kicking a field goal down 35 points. But that's what I'm saying. Like, we've kind of been expecting some teams so far this season to try to take advantage of some garbage time situations against Buffalo.
Right.
And Miami, Ohio might have moved the ball. They only scored 3 points in the second half. It wasn't like Buffalo's, prevent defense was just giving up yards in bunches. So I do agree with your point, but I also am willing to acknowledge that I think Buffalo's prevent defense, as you put it, might not be as bad as you're making it out to be.
Okay. Good enough. We'll see
I
what
know
happens.
Miami, Ohio's offense is not great either. It's okay, but they were awful last week. But at the end of the day, I think that Miami, Ohio's offense is probably still better than Bowling Green's.
Oh, sure.
Correct.
Unless Miami's taking a serious step backward, they won the conference last year.
Yeah, I know. I know Gabbert got injured, the backup who came in for week 1. I said he would play the second game, and he did. He was awful. But my point is that if Buffalo only gave up 3 second-half points while they were coasting to a win anyway, I do think that Bowling Green's offense will struggle to find the end zone even in garbage time.
Well, I'll tell you this: there's absolutely no world that I live in that I would back Bowling Green here. So
I don't know if there's a world that I live in where I'd back Bowling Green then again.
For me, it's either Buffalo or pass.
The only time I'd back Bowling Green is if they're getting 30 points from Ohio, because I have no positive opinions about Ohio.
So we're both on Buffalo here. I think Buffalo's far and away the best team in this conference, at least from what I've seen so far.
Right now, I'd say yes. I think that they're the most complete team. I know my 2 sleepers going in were Western Michigan and Kent State. Kent State we're going to talk about in a second. Western Michigan is somehow undefeated, which I'm not really sure how they pulled that one out. But I do think that Western Michigan and Kent State finished out the top 3.
Yeah. Now, Buffalo has in the past had a habit of playing down to their competition. They're rolling right along, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere comes a clunker where they either lose or barely win. This isn't going to be that game. That game could be
Bowling Green is not that game. I think that game might be Western Michigan.
Yeah.
Something like that. Maybe playing Kent State. Could be in a conference championship game as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be against a team that can outscore them.
Yep.
Because the defense hasn't looked as sharp as you were hoping it would.
Correct.
Offensively, they have looked better than anticipated, in my opinion, because I didn't think that Ventris was that good of a quarterback, and he's been letting it fly so far this season. He's been slinging it. So the offense is good. Well, at the end of the day, how elite is a MAC defense? The best MAC defense in the conference probably means it's good, but it could blow up at any moment. And I feel like that's a perfect summary on how Buffalo is going to lose. They need a team to outscore them.
Yeah.
And I think that Kent State and Western Michigan have the offense to potentially outscore them.
You're right, because the defense has been the weak link here, and they've traditionally been very strong. Now they're still very good, but they haven't quite been at the level. It's weird to talk about Patterson and Marks not doing quite as well as they have in the past, because they're both averaging over 5 yards a carry. Patterson's at 5.3, Marks is at 6.4. So, but they haven't quite been as dominant on the rush side. But this is really just serious nitpicking here with a very good football team. We talked a little bit about it before the show. I've been mostly surprised, and one of the biggest surprises of the college football season has been Ventris's arm.
Well, one other thing to mention besides Ventris's arm is the fact that Buffalo, even though they were known as being a 2-headed monster rushing attack going into the year, these receivers are very underrated.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I know that Western Michigan has one guy. I'm trying to pronounce it correctly. Is it Askridge?
Yes, that sounds right.
Now, he is nuts. He's an NFL player.
Right.
Throw him on kickoffs, throw him whatever. He's going to make it into the league. But besides that, Western Michigan doesn't really have anybody else. Kent State has a couple of track stars that they use who just have a ton of speed. McKay's pretty good as well. They have some really good receivers there. Buffalo has about 2 or 3 guys that can just break it on any play.
Yeah.
And they showed that against Miami, Ohio last week. You had a bunch of 70-plus yard touchdowns, 80-plus yard touchdowns. They're just wide open all the time. So even though Buffalo is known to run the ball a lot, they can afford to be a lot more balanced this year, maybe in comparison to recent years, because the receiving core is just so underratedly deep, and I feel like nobody's talking about that.
Yeah, I totally agree.
What's the name of the Buffalo receiver? Nunn?
Antonio Nunn. Yeah, he's a senior, Scott. I think he probably gets drafted if
he's very good.
If he continues the way he's playing. He's got 11 catches, 21.7 yards per catch. That's nuts. Trevor Wilson's a freshman. He's got 3 catches for 106 yards. They've got a good tight end in Lefevre.
Buffalo doesn't really have any underneath route guys. They kind of just chuck it up, and usually there's somebody open down there.
Yeah.
But it's a big play offense, and if you're going to be laying big numbers and potentially looking at just overs for games, you need teams that are going to score quickly. And chunks, Buffalo can score quickly.
Need chunks. Got to have chunks.
Mm-hmm.
All right, there you go. So we're both on. We're both on the Buffalo Bulls here. We'd like to have some kind of crafty angle and give you a reason to hope there, but
I'm gonna have a crafty angle on the game for a play today, so just keep that in mind. I know it's a little bit late, but yeah, I was waiting for some lines to come out so I can compare, and I'll be doing that after. So stay tuned for that.
all right, very good. All right, Scott, the other game. Should be the more competitive.
Hey, you can't laugh. They covered a spread.
I know.
They covered last week, okay?
They beat me. They beat me.
Why did they cover? Because I took Ohio team total over. That's why they covered.
You know, I think we learned a little bit more about Ohio than we did Akron last year. I think we learned Ohio isn't nearly
Ohio's terrible.
We thought they were.
They are bad.
They got the different brother in there.
Doesn't help. They got Armani Rogers from UNLV. Spoiler alert: the move to Ohio doesn't change the fact he can't throw. So
Poor kid.
you know, they don't have anybody who can really sling it. Rourke was good in the first game, but we're not going to talk about Ohio because that doesn't really matter. But the point is that Akron's defense actually showed up for a game. Now, to be clear, I despise Akron's quarterback in Gibson.
What did he ever do to you?
It's not a matter of what he ever did to me. It's a matter of just watching him play. I have never seen somebody trash talk or showboat down 30 points more than this guy. He's actually one of the most annoying quarterbacks I've seen in recent memory. Because at the end of the game last week, brief side note, it has nothing really to do with gambling. I just don't like the guy. They were losing to Ohio by double digits, right?
Yeah.
The game's over. And Gibson just starts clapping in this defender's ear. Like, as he completed a 10-yard pass to end the game, or like he ran for like 8 yards, and he starts trash talking this defender, and they just start like shoving each other. I'm like, you realize you haven't won a game in a year and a half, right? I didn't get it. He trucked the defender for a first down, and he's trash talking like, let's go. I'm like, you're down 2 touchdowns. You haven't won since I don't even know when the last time they've won. You can relax a little bit. So this guy's just trash talking, and I don't think he's very good. And he's always trash talking when they're losing by double digits. So nothing to do with the actual game. Talent-wise, is he better than Nelson from last year? They're kind of similar, if I'm being honest. I think Nelson's a better runner because he's faster, but I do think that Gibson has a better arm. But I don't know. I understand if you want to trash talk, that doesn't bother me. Can you at least look at the scoreboard before you trash talk the next time you do it? Because you always hate those guys when you're playing pickup basketball, makes 1-3. And he starts trash talking you, and yet you're up 18-4. Like, that's who he is.
I've never been up 18-4 in a basketball.
I'm just saying.
I have no idea.
I'm just saying. This Gibson guy from Akron, he's a poser, and I don't like him at all. But that's
it's obvious he had the points, Scott. So he was very excited about making that first down. Pretty much.
I could have sworn I saw him trash talking against Western Michigan, and they were down 40. Like, this guy just doesn't understand. But, like, I don't know, whatever. You got to put yourself up on your back.
I believe you kids call that swag, Scott. He's got a little swag to it.
You consider that swag to trash talk down 40?
I don't consider it well-placed swag.
I use the word poser. That's who I think he is. So I have no positive thoughts about Gibson.
All right, so are we just going to go Square City here on these games, Scott? What do you got here? It's Akron plus 27. This number has been cruising upwards. Could have got it a couple days ago at 25, 24.5 was even sniffing around out there. Not anymore, baby. People have woke up and went, oh my God, it's Akron. They're horrible. Give me Kent State. Any sneaky angle here?
I think the only sneaky angle I'd have here would be the over, which I don't even know if that's sneaky or not. But Akron's defense showed signs of life against Ohio. The main issue, though, is that Akron's pass defense is terrible and Ohio can't throw the ball. You know who can throw the ball? Crum, because he's a hell of a quarterback. So you have him and a bunch of track stars on the outside, and they're just going to send him on go routes and tell Akron's corners, I dare you to keep up with me in a 40-yard dash. And the odds are they're not going to catch up with them in a 40-yard dash. I think Kent State, after scoring 60 last week, could easily score 50-plus. I think Akron's offense is not good, but I do think that Kent State's defense is bad enough to give up at least 2 touchdowns, one of them potentially being in garbage time. And Kent State is a very good team to bet overs with because they play with a tremendous amount of pace. And if you're going to be betting overs, you need a team that's going to run a lot of plays. And Kent State is sprinting to the line up 30 against Bowling Green because they don't give a damn. So for me, I'm going to lean to Kent State because duh, and I'll lean to the over as well. I think Kent State will do most of the heavy lifting, but I do think that Akron's offense should be able to score at least 1 or 2 touchdowns against a Kent State defense that has left a lot to be desired.
You know, I'm gonna go ahead and play the first half in this game. I'm not sure Kent State's deep enough that if they start going too deep that they're going to be able to maintain it.
I didn't think so either. And they scored 17 points in the fourth quarter against Bowling Green last week.
Yeah, but that was still Crum in there in the fourth quarter, wasn't it?
No, brought in the back. They're still throwing passes in garbage time, so they don't fully, kick it into just kneeling the ball every play. But of course, you want Crum in there as long as possible. But I even think through 3 quarters, Kent State could probably score 40 points.
Yeah, they had they put Colin Schlee in there, I think, right?
Yeah, and he threw the ball okay, and for a backup quarterback at least. I know Bowling Green's defense doesn't really count, but
he was 5 for 8 for 100 yards.
That's what I'm saying. Like he wasn't bad at all. So I think that Kent State should probably score 50 in the spot. I know that Akron's defense was good against Ohio. They also gave up 58 points to Western Michigan, and Kent State goes faster than Western Michigan, so that's a problem. And I can't take an under if one team's going to score 50 by themselves.
Kind of threading that needle, isn't it?
I can't do it. I think Akron will get to 10. They'll have a nice parade because they scored double-digit points again. But I think that this game should probably end 52-14.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of how I'm supposed to lean Akron here when I think that Kent State might score on every drive they have.
Yeah, I think that's possible. I think they get the ball 9-10 times and may put points on the board every time but once.
Or 9-10, score 7 touchdowns. Congrats, you got 49 points.
That's possible. Okay, so give me you're taking Kent State and laying the wood here 27.
I'm going to lean to Kent State with the 27, and I'll also take the over because I do think that Kent State is just an offensive juggernaut that cannot have a total in the 50s when they're in danger of scoring 50.
All right, I'll take the first half minus 15, and I will remind everybody that's sometimes when you put your mind on a result, when you have it in your mind that this is the way this game is going to play out, you can add an extra aspect of the game, make it a 2-team parlay, and put very little at risk for a nice payday there. And I think this is one of those situations where if you think Kent State's going to cover, obviously they're going to be somewhere in the 40s to cover that 27. I think that's a fair assessment, right? It's got probably at least 42.
In order to cover, they should be in the 40s. I really think Kent State's defense is not very good because Bowling Green might have turned the ball over, but they actually moved the ball decently.
Yeah.
And I don't think their offense is any good. So I think Akron should probably score 14, something like that, which means that in addition to Kent State being required to score 40, there is a chance they can get 50, and it does mean that Akron, despite doing not that much in the group project, be getting an A if you take the over.
Yeah, they're gonna get the A. So yeah, I think that's a fair play. If you want to take Kent State here to lay the wood, I think you should seriously consider taking the over. And I would say that as far as the Buffalo game goes too.
Yep.
Even probably even more so there because you're laying more wood. You're laying 31, and you're getting 1 point less on the total.
I apologize that we're not looking at sharp, unique angles here between two of the worst teams in all college football.
Yeah, I got. You know what? I'm sure there's handicappers somewhere out there in the world that are have got something cooked up and are giving you a reason to take these underdogs.
You're going to do a 7. You're going to want to do a 7-point teaser.
I know.
Akron and Bowling. There's going to be one guy on Twitter who's telling you to take a teaser with Akron and Bowling Green in the degenerate underdog special, but I'm not doing it.
And there's a good chance one of these underdogs beats the number tonight.
Yeah, decent chance because the numbers are so high. But right. I'm looking at it just from an on-paper perspective, and on paper, it's a massive mismatch between these two teams. So I think if one team is going to cover, I think it would be Akron, just because Kent State's defense can really give up some points in this spot.
Yep.
Bowling Green, I look at from top to bottom, and I just say, I don't know what area you're going to be successful in against Buffalo.
I will say sometimes it's better to look at the over in games like this because things that'll screw you on big spreads, fumbles deep in your own territory.
It's the MAC, so a punt can go 5 yards.
Yeah, giving up a return and a pick, something like that. So all those things that work against you trying to cover a gigantic number will still work in your favor if you're taking the over.
Yeah.
Still get the offensive prowess of the favorite, and you get the little added bonus that if they fumble at their own 5-yard line or something and gives Akron a short field to score, then you still get credit for that as far as going towards your over goes. So anyway, that's about as sneaky as an angle that I've got on this one. So the good news is, Scott, we should have 3 a little more competitive games tomorrow night to talk about on Hump Day MACtion. So
well, looking forward to it.
For today, we got to eat our salad, have a few vegetables, and then we can feast on steaks and dessert tomorrow. So
I thought you were going to say turkey because you got Thanksgiving coming up around the corner, but that works too.
Yeah, there you go.
Cool.
All right, bud. So there you go. Lay that wood. Scott's laying a full game. I'm laying at half game for the first half in this one. We're both on Buffalo to cover that early number there. 2 very good teams. So we'll see what happens right there. 2 very good quarterbacks, guys. If you enjoy seeing good quarterback play, definitely check out these 2 games. And they are an hour apart, so you get to
a little bit of overlap there. But the Buffalo game will be a blowout within the first hour that you can already hope for a more entertaining game in the second one. You're not going to get it, but you might be able to last an hour before you realize, are these teams playing the same sport?
It will be more entertaining than the second half of the NFL game last night.
Oh, I don't know if that's saying much because that might have been one of the worst second half offenses I've ever seen.
Dreadful. Like I said, I saw the cry late in the fourth quarter that it said the Bears had 16 yards.
It's a bad sign when Bears fans are calling for Trubisky and he's been out for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think some Bears fans even knew that Trubisky was still injured.
Tyler Bray
is a guy who I know he went to Tennessee and he was mediocrely successful. I'll always remember him as being the guy who accidentally admitted that he's getting paid to play for Tennessee.
$1 million arm, 10-cent head.
No, I don't know if you remember that interview or
not. Yes. Yeah, it was
one of the funniest quotes that he had to correct immediately because he realized he screwed up. It was kind of similar to the Cardell Jones, I'm not here to play school. It was kind of that idea where Bray just said after losing one conference game, I forgot who they played against, but it's Tennessee. They lost the conference game. They probably should have won. And he's like, yeah, and the reporter's like, yeah, how do you feel that you just lost? He's like, I don't like losing. That's not what I'm paid to do here. And he's like, oh, I mean through education. And I'm like, yeah, good save. Well done. You can look it up. I think that quote's from like 10 years ago, but that's the only thing I remember Bray from was that he said that quote where he's like, that's not what I'm getting paid to do. Oh, through education and scholarship.
Well, that and many other things like it kept him from getting drafted. The Chiefs had him on their roster for 3 or 4 years as a UDFA, and he was always one of these guys that had a big arm, but you just knew he was never going to be an actual quarterback. But that was
him being funny, and that one Cardell Jones school quote. They're 2 of the best college quarterback quotes in the last, I don't know.
That was a horrific performance by him last night. The 3 passes that he attempted to throw, he had 1 completion over the middle, and then just wasn't close.
Oh, you mean the Spring Football League thing?
What's that? No, I mean last night.
Man. Oh, last night. Sorry, Bray. Yeah, sorry. I thought it was about Cardell. That's why I got confused.
No. Talk about Bray last night.
It's not good. But then again, he also probably wouldn't expect to play all year. So I'll give him a pass on that one. I don't think he's that good. The Bears, I thought they were going to go 8-8 after they lost and then they started their free fall.
Better hurry.
I don't know if they're going to win 7 games.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It is bad. Truth is, if you really wanted to look at some value potentially, you can look at Minnesota to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Potentially. I mean, I'm not saying that you should be backing a team that's 4-5 now, but tell you what, though, I don't think the NFC at the bottom is very good, and you have the extra playoff spot. The Bears are going to go into free fall. Mm-hmm. I think Minnesota right now, assuming Dalvin stays healthy, I think they could win 9 games.
Sure.
I think it's doable.
I just look at their schedule to break that down, but I think
they already played the Packers twice.
On the surface, I think they're going to they got 4 of 8, right?
Something like that. I know that they played the Packers. Wait,
4 of 7 to get to 9 wins. Yeah, they're 4-5 right now, so 4 of 7. Yeah, okay. I just want credit for going right into the face of Kirk Cousins 0-9 on Monday Night Football. No fear.
No fear.
Scott Bear shut down Dalvin Cook last 4 times.
There's a brief period where it didn't look good because you have the Minnesota special team single-handedly tried to sabotage the game, but they held on.
Yep. Yeah, they gave up. Yeah, when you give up 13 points and 7 of them are on a kickoff return.
Yeah.
Jesus. All right, so that's enough about that. We'll have an entertaining Thursday game to talk about too in the NFL. It's going to be a good week, buddy. Good week. I'm off to a good start, and I'm going to keep it rolling here tonight with these two. So, if you want even more information on either one of these two games, I don't know why you would. I know Scott and I have laid out perfect causes here, but you know what? Some people like to check it out. So make sure you stop by winnersandwhiners.com to check that out. The #1 site in the world for predictive sports analysis anywhere that you are going to find. So MACtion is kind of their jam over there. So make sure you stop by, check that out. Make sure you listen to us every day. We appreciate you checking us out. Always give us the thumbs up for the video if you're enjoying what we're doing. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Check out Scott and I doing various videos throughout the day, all kinds of fun. So if you click on that bell when you subscribe, you'll get notified when we put those videos up. And of course, we wish you guys nothing but the best tonight. Hope every one of those tickets in your pocket turns into cash money back at the window. For myself, for Scott Reichel, for all of us over here at winnersandwhiners.com, have a great day. Good luck tonight, and we'll see you tomorrow on Today in Sports Betting. Take care, everybody.